to give you guys 30 of the best historical sites that you can actually visit in the United States. We're going to kind of do this a little bit of a trend. Right now we're going to dive into the Kennedy Space Center, but I'm also going to talk about the one in Huntsville, Alabama, as well as the one in Houston, Texas. I thought about doing this, and I thought it was a pretty cool little event that we can actually do and be able to share a lot of information. My wife in particular, who's joining us today, is really big on, space and all the aspects that it can offer. So that's going to be a pretty cool little event that we're starting here. Right after this one, we're going to talk about the 25 best Civil War sites. That's going to be the next one, the next segment. And then the final one is the 10 great Revolutionary War battlefields that you can actually visit and be able to see a little bit more and understand a little bit more of each of the battles that fought between the British and the colonies. But with that being said, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. We're going to go ahead and dive in. So right here, this is the NASA logo, and then I just found some pictures to be able to share with everyone. Very beautiful pictures, but we're going to go ahead and start. So right here, we're going to begin at the Jfk Space Center, which is located in Florida. So that's actually pretty cool. It's pretty far down in Florida, but the John F. K. Space Center in eastern Florida has historically functioned as the major National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or better known as NASA, launch facility for manned and unmanned space missions prior to the development of the John F. K. Space Center. Space missions originated from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. However, when President Kennedy initiated the Man to the Moon project, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station was deemed insignificant to house further facilities. In 1961, NASA requested from Congress authority to purchase 125 square miles of property that became John F. K. Space Center. The space program proceeded, rapidly progressing through 4 major phases: Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, and the Space Shuttle. Project Mercury, executed in less than 5 years, put a manned spacecraft in orbital flight around the Earth. Project Gemini was dedicated to long-duration missions. The goal of Apollo program, the largest and most ambitious of the manned space programs, was landing astronauts on the Moon and their safe return to Earth. After the first few Apollo missions, all originating at the John F. K. Space Center, Apollo 11 accumulated when astronauts Neil A. Armstrong and Colonel Edwin E. Adair Jr. torched down the Moon and their lunar module on July 21st, 1869, while Lieutenant Colonel Michael Collins, navigator of the Apollo craft, remained in orbit. So that is just a little bit of information about the John F. K. Center. Sorry about that as well. I'm having to move the mouse and screen around, but there's so much to be able to offer and learn from this center and what it can offer. Alright, and then the next one is the Space Shuttle program was dedicated to creating a reusable shuttle. The first reusable space shuttle lifted off from John F. Kennedy Space Center on April 12, 1981, carrying John Young and Robert By 1986, NASA was approaching a goal of 12 to 13 shuttle launches each year. Following the loss of the Challenger and its crew on January 28, 1986, the program experienced a 32-month hiatus. Today, as the leading space center, John F. Kennedy Space Center launches manned space vehicles, unmanned preliminary spacecraft, scientific, meteorologic, and communications satellites, and serves as a launch center for the reusable space shuttle. The planning and the directing of space vehicle assembly, pre-flight preparation, spacecraft test, countdown, and launch operations and landing operations are among a few of the responsibilities of John F. Kennedy Space Center. And if we go to the next page, here is a couple of pictures that I found of the center in Florida. The one to the left is the start of it. That's a picture of what it looked like at earlier times as they were starting to develop the center, and then the one on the right is what it looks like today. So you can just see the progression through the years of what became a very, very popular and well-known launch center for NASA and its missions to go into orbit. So that's pretty interesting stuff. Hoping that maybe we can go down there one day and maybe see the museum that they have to offer there, and I don't know, maybe we can actually see a rocket going off into space. That would be pretty cool. I've heard that it's pretty loud once they do go off, so we'll just see. But there is another one that is relatively close to us. Well, for me and my wife, and many other people as well, if they are located in the Alabama region, because there is the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. This center opened in 1970, just after the Apollo 12 moon landing, the second crewed mission to the lunar surface. It showcases Apollo program hardware and also houses interactive science exhibits, space shuttle exhibits, and army rockery and aircraft. They do have 2 camp programs offer to visitors the opportunity to stay on the grounds to learn more about space flight and aviation. U.S. Space Camp gives an in-depth exposure to the space program through participation, use of stimulars, lectures, and training exercises. Aviation Challenge offers a taste of military fighter pilot training, including the stimulations, lectures, and survival exercises. Both camps provide residential and day camp educational programs for children and adults. So that is actually pretty cool. My wife has been wanting me to go to this one as well, so we're going to try to come up with a day or some time to be able to go out there and let her experience that wonderful time and get to learn a lot of history about Apollo 12 and all the other great things that they have to offer at this center in Huntsville, Alabama. And we'll go to the next slide. Alright, and these, just make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. And these are some of the pictures of the U.S. Space and Rocket. Now, if you look to the left, right here, this is kind of what the space camp looks like. There's your entrance, and then they have, I'm assuming that you have beds or cots somewhere in this area, maybe over in this way, I'm not 100% sure. But they do have a website, so you can check them out as well. Here's the entrance to the Space and Rocket Center, located in Huntsville, Alabama. If you're ever in Huntsville, Alabama, and you're looking for a great time or a wonderful place to be able to go with the family, this would be a great option for you to pick as well. You get to learn all kinds of different aviations as far as Army and what they have to offer, as well as what NASA has to offer. So that would be a pretty cool thing to be able to do. And then we'll go to the next one. Yeah, this one is the Johnson Space Center, which is located in Houston, Texas. What was established in 1961, and from the Gemini, Apollo, and Skylab projects to today's space shuttle and International Space Station programs, the center continues to lead NASA's effort in human space exploration. Johnson Space Center was born out of the early space program's need for facilities to house the Space Task Group, which was formed with Langley engineers to conduct the Apollo project, with the daunting task outlined by President John F. Kennedy to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. The STG needed new quarters with test facilities and research laboratories suitable to mount an expedition to the moon. The NASA installation was originally designated the Manned Spacecraft Center, and from its inception it was to be the lead center for U.S. space missions involving astronauts. It was renamed the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center on August 27th, 1973. So that is that. And here's some more information on the Space Center in Houston. On July 7th, 1961, NASA Administrator James E. Webb directed the establishment of preliminary site criteria and a site selection team. Essential criteria for the new site included the availability of water transport and first-class all-weather airport proximity to a major telecommunications network, as well established pool of industry and contractor support, a readily available supply of water, a mild climate permitting year-round outdoor work, and cultural attractive community. Houston was initially included by virtue of the St. Josto Ordnance Depot, since military rather than commercial facilities were judged best for helping handle NASA's large arsenal of jets and specialized equipment, and because of its recognition, prominent universities including Rice, Texas, and Texas A&M. So that is some more on that facility in Houston. Here is some of the pictures. This is the entrance, so you'll see this as you are pulling into the facility. Now this was actually pretty cool. This is one of the labs, or testing sites that they have on site, where the astronauts put on the gear and they kind of practice repairing things to the sense of how it would feel in outer space. So that is actually pretty cool that you can be able to see that, and just kind of get a better understanding of what it takes to be an astronaut and what kind of dangers can be lurking once you are in space. Because in space there's no gravity, so a lot of these men are just kind of like floating around, just attached to these little wires or these hoses. And oxygen is very slim up there. So it's a lot of training, a lot of hard work. So all those men that do that My hats go off to them. They are a lot stronger than I could be able to go up there and have to live in space and eat on those space foods that they have for them, and not being able to really be on ground because there's no gravity. But these are pretty interesting things. Would like to see the one in Florida. Need to go out to the one in Huntsville before my wife drives me nuts about it. We see it all the time too. Every time we go to Huntsville or Alabama to see our friends, we drive right past it. So we are constantly seeing it. It's like our sign that we should go there. So maybe we will be there shortly, very soon. But so that is a little bit of one of the attractions. It kind of branched out to a couple more than just one. But we do have a trip coming up this weekend. Super excited about it. We're going to be back in Savannah, Georgia, and also making our way to Jekyll Island. And I'll share that with you guys as well. Here is a picture of Savannah that I was able to locate. Let me move us around just a tad bit. There we go. Alright, so this is a picture that I found to let you guys know that we are going to Savannah, Georgia. A little bit of backstory on Savannah and when it was founded. Savannah's record history begins in 1733. That's the year General James Oglethorpe and the 120 passengers of the good ship Anna landed on a bluff high along the Savannah River in February. Oglethorpe named the 13th and final American colony, Georgia, after England's King George II. Savannah became its first city. So that's pretty interesting stuff as well. Super excited about being able to go out there. While we're in Savannah, we might do some walking around the town and turning on the night vision camera and seeing what we can see. It is a very haunted and active town filled with ghosts and spirits. So maybe we can bring you guys some of that paranormal activity that you guys enjoy watching and being able to see. And then on Saturday, we will be going to the wonderful and peaceful Jekyll Island. Down there, we will be visiting the Horton House, as you can see in the picture to the right. That is what is left of the Horton House. Behind the Horton House is the man that owned the Horton House and where he is buried. As we are also going to be going into Jekyll Island, we will be taking our talents and our wonderful selves down to Driftwood Beach. And we're going to be walking around Driftwood and just admiring the beauty, the history, and just bring you guys that content as well. We are also going to be looking at the oldest and largest tree that is located in Jekyll Island. Its name is Plantation Oak, and that is all I'm going to be able to share with you guys at the moment, but I will bring you guys a great video and wonderful content to go with it. Now, a little bit of history about Jekyll Island is that it was in 1733, General James Oglethorpe named Jekyll Island in honor of Sir Joseph Jekyll, his friend and financial from England. In the late 1800s, Jekyll Island became an exclusive hunting club for families with names like Rockefeller, Morgan, Vanderbilt, Pulsar, and Baker. So these were very common, very popular names in those times, especially in the late 1800s in the island of Jekyll. And it's always interesting to be able to pull up information about where your town or what your town's history is, or your state, or even places that you visit, because there's history there that maybe none of us actually ever even known. I never knew that James Oglethorpe founded Savannah, let alone Jekyll. And whoever thought that he actually named Jekyll Island after his friend. So that's all fascinating information. I'm super excited to be able to go out there and bring that content to you guys. And then the next video, I just got notification of this today, so I wanted to share this with you guys. This is my good friend Brandon. I met him on several occasions. First time we met each other was at the Briarfield reenactment. Had a great time meeting him, meeting John T. Wayne, and me and him just kind of hit it off. We were pretty good friends then, and we just continued growing. He's a wonderful guy. You know, he writes his own books. He gets inspiration from his daughter Piper, who gives him the drive, and then it's just up to him to keep the wheels in the motion. And he's doing a fantastic job. He's a great guy. I got a couple books from him too. Got one from my daughter. But on June 18th at 1 o'clock, Mr. Brandon will be at the Eagle Crow Marina, which is located in Brookwood, in Cottondale, I believe it is. He'll be there to do a book signing. He'll be also delivering a speech. So if you guys are in town, or even just want to stop by, say hey, pick up one of the books if you are into that. These are great books. You know, he writes books for young adults all the way down to little kids. A lot of his kid books are inspired by his daughter. You know, and they get names from her stuffed animals or her animals in the house. So they're wonderful books. The one I got is talking about him and his brothers and how they were involved in an accident. It was a very interesting book, very big book, but you know, a lot of history goes into where you come from and where you want to be in life. You know, there's never a page that's going to be shorter than that. You know, we're always going to take wrong turns or go down different roads, but eventually we'll be able to see the light and get where we want to be. And this is what Brandon's wanting to do, and this is where his heart is. His heart and passion is to write, and I believe in that. The picture to the left is when I interviewed him at the Tannehill historical site. I had a wonderful time. It was raining, but you know, it was a great time. Be able to see the rain, the beautiful weather, meeting great people. Also, on that note, with the Tannehill historical site, they do have a reenactment at the Tannehill State Park this weekend. So if you guys are in the area of Tannehill Historical Park, stop by, show your love to those reenactors who go out there each and every day, trying to relive history and sharing the true history of the Civil War and how these battles took place, and how both sides lived and fought during those times. But you know, I always got to shout out to all my great people in Alabama, Georgia, you know, Tennessee, even South Carolina. We've been there a few times, met some great people there too. Mississippi, we had a lot of good experiences in Mississippi. They just got done doing one reenactment in South Carolina, so that was disappointing that I wasn't able to make it. But you know, things happen, and we just got to move forward and just try to start planning for the next time. They do have another reenactment in South Carolina this weekend in Earnhardt, South Carolina. That it would be the Battle of Bronxton Bridge. So if you guys are in the area of Earnhardt, South Carolina, or pretty close to it, stop by and see them guys as well. I got a couple good friends that are going to be out there My good buddy Joshua is going to be out there. And then I got a couple other reenactors that has been contacting me, seeing if I'm going to be out there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it out there this time. I'll be in Savannah filming, spending some time with the family, letting my daughter see the wonderful beach again. And other than that, that's all we got in store for you guys. Until next time, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Love you guys, and talk to you guys again soon.